First at 6, state lawmakers getting back to work at the state capitol for the start of a new legislative session. From housing to the state budget, we're breaking down the biggest issues on the agenda.
Officers in one town are warning people to be careful when sending checks through the mail. Why they believe more than one person could be responsible for the rise of check washing incidents.
Also, a key witness is set to take the stand once again today in the Michelle Trones trial. We'll tell you what he told the jury about Fotis Dulos and Michelle Trones before Jennifer Dulos was
All local, all morning. This is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Thanks for joining us here on Fox 61 and Fox 61 Plus. I'm Erica Arias.
And I'm Tim Lammers. Good morning, everybody. Let's start with the forecast, as there's been as much sunshine now this week as there were clouds the week before. We get over to meteorologist Matt Scott. A little chilly out there, but nothing unexpected.
But it is nice that we flipped the clouds and the sun. Right?
I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it's February, so it's supposed to be a little on the chilly side. That said, it's not bad out there. Good morning to you. Here's what you need to know before you go. It is still a mostly sunny streak. Few high clouds. That's it. We're splitting hairs here looking for any issues with the forecast. Not finding it. 7-day forecast. Warm up continues, and boy does it. We'll show you that coming up. Clouds mostly clear. That's the way we'll keep it again today. We still have a very light wind out of the north. Your numbers down to 26 in Hartford, 30 in New Haven. That's not bad. Should be into teens for many of you at 6:01 in the morning. We're down to 20 in Willimantic. That's as low as it goes. On the way up to the low to mid 40s today. We've now hit the bottom. We talked about this on Monday. Monday and Tuesday were going to be the low points of the week temperature-wise. Now we're going to turn up the dial a little bit, and wait till you see how much we turn that dial up as we approach the weekend. We'll talk about that. Looking for any trouble, we'll tell you if we're going to find it in the 7-day coming up. 6:02, to the roads we go. First time this morning I get to say hi to the woman in white, Rachel Piscatelli.
Hey, good morning, Matt. It is more cream, but that's okay.
Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
My eyesight is shot.
I'm kidding. All right, 6:02 right now, 91, 95, all looking good this morning, as well as 84. We'll take a live look outside over in Waterbury this morning. Both directions are running smoothly. We have some earlier road work out by exits 18 through about 22. That has cleared for your morning commute. Over in Hartford now, a live look outside just out by Jennings Road. Light volume heading into the capital city. A bit more cars on the road leaving the capital city this morning. Over in Waterbury, 18 to 25. It's 5 minutes in both directions, east and westbound. Route 8, Seymour to Shelton, is a nice 6-minute drive. Back to you.
Thank you. This morning, police are asking you to be on the lookout for a missing toddler. They said a 2-year-old girl from Scottsdale, Arizona is missing, and they think she might be in New Haven. Her name is Madison Klintz. She's been missing for 2 months. So please, if you see her or if you see any little girl who even looks like her, call the police right away.
State lawmakers are heading back to work at the Capitol today and as a new legislative session begins.
And Governor Lamont is set to deliver his State of the State address, laying out his vision and priorities. Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro is live outside the Capitol with what is on the agenda for him and for the legislature today. Good morning.
Tim, Erica, good morning. And this is a shorter session, wraps up in early May. So that means you can expect some scrambling from these state lawmakers as they really work to prioritize which issues to get legislation passed on. In the mix, everything from education, workforce development, and also electric vehicle regulations. Now, another big issue that we have reported a lot on in recent years is Connecticut's housing crisis. There are proposals in the works as we speak, focusing on development since supply is far below demand. Lawmakers are discussing changes to the housing voucher system, among other help, but they say the real challenge here comes down to incentivizing affordable housing, since zoning is typically left up to those community boards and commissions.
And so it becomes a supply and demand issue where we haven't built what we need to. We haven't acknowledged the changes in population that we're seeing in the state of Connecticut. And we need to figure out policy-wise ways to invest in our communities so that we respect what makes our towns unique and special, but also helps invite families and individuals into those towns who otherwise couldn't afford to.
And also at the top of the agenda, making adjustments to the $26 billion state budget approved for the fiscal year that starts in July. Now, something to watch out for in those budget talks: debate over the state's fiscal guardrails, which include spending caps and savings requirements. Some lawmakers and advocacy groups are calling for more flexibility in spending for stuff like higher education and social services, as the state does have strong revenues. We'll hear more about the governor's priorities during his State of the State address, and that is scheduled for noon. We are live in front of the state capitol this morning. I'm Angelo Bavaro, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Angelo, thanks so much. And of course, we're going to have complete coverage for you of the governor's State of the State address. You can watch the address live on Fox 61 and Fox 61 Plus. Not only that, Fox 61 political reporter Emma Wolfhorst is going to be following lawmakers this entire legislative session. So you can check it all out on air, online, and on Fox 61 Plus. A man looking to challenge U.S. Senator Chris Murphy in November is throwing his hat into the ring. Jerry Smith is seeking the Republican nomination for the Senate seat. He made the announcement last night in front of his family and said that they inspired him to run for Senate. Smith serves as the first selectman of Beacon Falls and recounted what drew him to public service.
I think when I first ran, and I was inspired because, you know, if you see something, you're supposed to say something. If you don't like something, do something.
Senator Murphy is seeking his third term in office.
Well, today in the Michelle Troconis trial, jurors are once again expected to hear testimony from Pavel Gumieni. He's a former employee of Fotis Dulos and is considered a key witness in the case. The state granted him immunity in exchange for his testimony. Now, yesterday, he spoke about the events leading up to Jennifer Dulos' disappearance. He said he helped her move out of her Farmington home in 2017 after she and Fotis started their divorce. And then just weeks before she disappeared in 2019, Gumieni said he recounted what he said Troconis and Fotis said when one of the Dulos' dogs got sick.
He said something like, can you believe that Jennifer won't even let the kids come over and say goodbye to the dog before we put him to sleep?
Tell the jury what the defendant said.
She said she should be buried right next to this dog.
Now, Gumieni also spoke about the day Jennifer was reported missing. Gumieni said he went to one of Fotis' properties to pick up this red Toyota Tacoma pickup truck. That's the same truck that prosecutors claim Fotis was driving to and from the area Jennifer was last seen on the day she disappeared. Gumieni said a few days after that, Fotis got the truck detailed and cleaned and wanted Gumieni to change the seats or to even sell it.
He told me, go to junkyard, get Tacoma seats or some other seats, pay cash, and I will invoice you for it.
Were you growing nervous or suspicious about Mr. Dulos?
Yes.
Gumieni said Fotis then asked him not to call the seats seats, but instead to call them hardware from that point on. Now, once again, it's not Fotis on trial here, it's Troconis. She's been charged with conspiracy to commit murder, and yesterday outside of court, her family read some emails of support for her. The testimony is expected to pick back up again at 10 a.m. like it's been doing every weekday in Stamford there, and when it does happen, you can watch it live streaming on Fox 61 Plus.
Well, check washing scams aren't new. Officers in Watertown are warning that they've seen a lot more in their community. If you're wondering how check washing works, it works like this. Crooks usually target blue mailboxes to see if anyone has sent checks by mail. They use a special substance to erase the ink on the check and then change things like the dollar amount and also whom the check is addressed to. Then criminals cash the checks for the higher amount. Officers say people have been scammed out of either a couple hundred or even thousands of dollars. Police say all of the reported instances have involved people putting checks in those blue post office mailboxes.
Either using, potentially a stolen key, because we have been seeing that has been on the rise where they're being stolen from postal workers, the postal workers being robbed or whatever, or they're using a device to be able to get into the box and use some form of mechanism to be able to get the checks out. Each one has been different. They haven't been the same. It doesn't seem like it's been the same individual on the check. So we don't think we have one person who is potentially doing this. Might be multiple people.
Now, officers are reminding people to use gel pens when writing checks, and also keep an eye on your bank account. If you see something that's off, call the bank right away. If you see anyone breaking into a blue mailbox, definitely call the police. New Milford police need your help identifying 2 people accused of hurting a driver. They say the 2 men on your screen threw a soda bottle out of their window while driving on Kent Road. The bottle hit the windshield of another car. Police say the driver of that other car was seriously hurt.